Here's a statement that might make some men uncomfortable. Just because a woman reaches out doesn't mean she actually wants you. In fact, responding without thinking can undo all the progress you've made in holding your value, maintaining your boundaries, and controlling the dynamic. Most men don't realize how much power they lose by reacting automatically to a woman's messages, especially if she's testing, seeking attention, or trying to pull you back in after losing interest. The truth is, when a woman contacts you, it's not always a sign of genuine desire. It could be curiosity, boredom, or even an attempt to see if you've changed. Many men fall into the trap of responding immediately, overanalyzing, or feeling pressured to play it cool, while secretly hoping she's serious. This behavior often signals neediness and lowers your perceived value without you even realizing it. Understanding when to respond, or when to maintain silence, is one of the most underrated skills in modern dating, and it can completely change the way a woman interacts with you. This video is going to break down exactly what happens when a woman reaches out, why you might consider ignoring her, and how to respond strategically, if at all. We'll explore the psychological dynamics at play, the risks of overcommunicating, and the ways you can maintain your power while keeping your dignity intact. By the end of this video, you'll know when her messages are worth your attention and when silence is actually the most powerful response. Welcome to the channel. If you've ever been confused about whether you should respond to a woman who suddenly contacts you, or if you've ever felt tempted to chase someone who isn't fully invested, you're in the right place. Stick with me, because this is going to give you clarity, a better understanding of female psychology, and practical guidance on how to navigate situations where a woman reaches out, but may not truly want you. 1. She reaches out. But why? When a woman reaches out, the first mistake most men make is assuming it automatically means she wants something serious or meaningful. The truth is, women reach out for many reasons, and not all of them involve genuine interest in you. Understanding her motivation is the key to responding, or not responding, in a way that maintains your value and protects your energy. Think about this. You get a text from a woman you've been dating casually. It's playful, maybe even a little flirty. Your instinct might be to respond immediately, excited that she's thinking of you. But pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this curiosity? Is she bored? Is she testing to see if you've changed, or if you still chase her attention? Just because she initiates contact doesn't mean she's ready to invest or prioritize you. Men often misread these signals because we're wired to respond to attention. We see a message and think, she wants me back, I need to engage. But here's the reality. Reacting impulsively can signal neediness, not confidence. If she senses you'll respond no matter what, she doesn't see you as a high-value man. She sees you as available and easily controlled. The dynamics of attraction shift immediately when you start chasing again. Another thing to notice is the timing and context. Did she reach out after a period of no contact? Did it follow a breakup, an argument, or a moment where she realized you're moving on? These details matter. Often, women reach out when it benefits them emotionally or socially, not because they genuinely want a deeper connection. Recognizing this prevents you from over-investing in someone whose interest is inconsistent. Scenario. You haven't spoken to a woman in weeks, and suddenly she texts, "Hey, how have you been?" Your initial reaction might be excitement. But notice the pattern. She hasn't reached out in the past month, didn't show interest in your life, and now she wants to reconnect. Responding immediately could undo your progress in establishing boundaries. Waiting, reflecting, or even ignoring can protect your value while sending a subtle message. Your attention isn't automatic. It's earned. The takeaway here is simple. Don't assume her outreach equals desire. Step back, analyze her motivation, and decide how you want to respond strategically. Understanding why she reached out is the first step in maintaining control, preserving your self-respect, and preventing unnecessary emotional investment. 2. The power of silence. Why ignoring works. One of the most powerful tools a man has when a woman reaches out is silence. It's simple, but most men underestimate how much impact it has. Ignoring her, or at least taking your time to respond, can shift the dynamic completely. It's not about playing games or being cruel. It's about maintaining your value and letting her realize that your attention isn't automatic. When a man responds immediately to every text, it signals availability and neediness, even if he doesn't intend it that way. Women are wired to notice patterns, and if you always reply instantly, it lowers your perceived value. Silence creates a sense of mystery and independence. It says, without words, I have a life, my time is valuable, and you need to earn my attention. The power of silence isn't just about ignoring her, it's about strategic restraint. It gives you space to think clearly about why she's reaching out and whether it's worth your energy. It prevents knee-jerk reactions that could undermine your confidence or make you appear desperate. Instead of jumping to respond, you pause, assess her motives, and choose a response that reinforces your boundaries. Silence also allows you to observe her behavior. How does she react when you don't reply immediately? Does she follow up, offer explanations, or show signs of frustration? Her reaction tells you a lot about her true intentions. A woman who's genuinely interested will adjust her approach to match your energy and respect your time. One who isn't interested will lose momentum quickly or disappear again. Another key point: silence gives you control over the pace of the interaction. Instead of letting her set the rhythm, you dictate when, how, and if you respond. This is a subtle but powerful way to maintain dominance in the dynamic without being aggressive or confrontational. It shifts attraction in your favor because you're showing that your attention is selective, not automatic. Finally, the power of silence isn't just about her, it's about you. It allows you to stay centered, maintain confidence, and protect your energy. It prevents emotional overinvestment in someone whose motives may be unclear. By practicing restraint, you create a dynamic where she values your attention, not one where she takes it for granted. 3. Overthinking kills your value. One of the biggest traps men fall into when a woman reaches out is overthinking. Suddenly, every word, emoji, or punctuation mark becomes a puzzle you have to decode. You replay conversations, analyze her tone, and imagine hidden meanings where there may be none. Overthinking doesn't just waste your energy, it actively lowers your value in her eyes. Here's the truth: women notice confidence more than interpretation. When a man is calm, relaxed, and selective about how he responds, he signals stability, self-respect, and high value. When he overanalyzes every message, second-guesses himself, or worries about whether he should respond immediately, he signals neediness and insecurity. That desperation is unattractive, no matter how charming, funny, or successful you are. Overthinking also leads to rash or poorly timed responses. You might respond too quickly out of fear of losing her attention, or overcompensate with long, detailed messages to prove your worth. Both approaches are damaging. Immediate, emotionally driven reactions often show dependence on her approval, while over-explaining or trying to win her back communicates lack of confidence. Another problem is getting stuck in hypotheticals. Men imagine all the reasons she reached out, what she's thinking, or what it could mean for the future. This mental loop creates anxiety and keeps you in a reactive state instead of a proactive one. The result is often misjudgment, unnecessary emotional investment, and losing sight of your own standards. The antidote to overthinking is simple: focus on your own value, not her motives. Ask yourself, does her outreach deserve my energy? Does it fit with my priorities and boundaries? Am I responding because I want to, or because I feel I have to? When your actions come from choice rather than anxiety, you immediately elevate your presence and control. Remember, confidence is magnetic, and women pick up on it immediately. Overthinking erodes it. By keeping your mind clear, responding intentionally, or waiting to respond, you maintain your value and reinforce the idea that your attention is earned, not freely given. 4. Responding too soon. The trap. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman reaches out is responding too soon. It seems harmless, even natural, but it often sends the wrong message. Instant replies tell her that your attention is automatic, your time is hers to command, and that you're too eager for validation. In short, it lowers your perceived value. Think about it. When you respond immediately every time she texts, she learns that she doesn't need to invest in you, because you'll always be there, ready and waiting. That predictability might feel safe or convenient, but it's not attractive. Attraction thrives on mystery, independence, and unpredictability, all things lost when you respond too quickly. Responding too soon also removes your power of choice. When she reaches out, you have the opportunity to decide if, when, and how you engage. Replying instantly hands that power over to her. Suddenly, your energy and attention are reactive instead of intentional. That might seem minor, but small patterns like this shape the dynamic of the relationship or interaction. Over time, consistent immediacy can make you appear available and overly eager, which reduces your leverage. Another problem with responding too soon is that it can make you predictable. Women notice patterns in behavior. If your responses are always fast, upbeat, and uncalculated, she may begin to assume that your interest is automatic, and her attraction might plateau or even decline. Timing is subtle but powerful. Waiting allows her to wonder, question, and even value your attention more. It's not about ignoring her indefinitely or playing childish games. It's about strategic pacing. Taking a little time before responding allows you to maintain composure, assess her intention, and act from a position of confidence rather than reaction. It also shows that your life is full, your attention is selective, and you are not dependent on her to feel validated. Finally, responding too soon often fuels overthinking, which we talked about earlier. You might respond immediately, then obsess over every word, wondering if it was too eager, too casual, or too cold. A deliberate pause gives you clarity and prevents impulsive actions that can lower your value in her eyes. 5. When curiosity isn't interest. One of the trickiest situations for men is when a woman reaches out and it seems like she's showing interest, but her curiosity isn't the same as desire. Just because she initiates contact doesn't mean she wants a real connection, a date, or anything meaningful. Many men misinterpret casual outreach as attraction, and that's where the problem begins. Imagine this. You haven't spoken to a woman in a few weeks, and suddenly she texts, "Hey, what are you up to?" Your mind immediately lights up, thinking she wants to reconnect. But if you pay attention, you'll notice that her messages are brief, vague, or don't lead anywhere. She's reaching out to see what you're doing, check in socially, or even satisfy a moment of boredom, not because she's genuinely invested. This is a common dynamic, and it's subtle enough to confuse men who are emotionally attached. Curiosity-driven contact is often surface level. She may flirt lightly or ask casual questions, but there's no follow-through or deeper engagement. The key difference between curiosity and interest is effort and consistency. Interest requires effort, making plans, showing investment, asking personal questions, and engaging in ways that suggest a future. Curiosity, on the other hand, is passive. She gets what she wants emotionally without offering anything in return. Men often fall into the trap of trying to convert curiosity into interest. They over-communicate, invest time and energy, and hope that by responding perfectly, she'll suddenly want more. The reality is, you can't manufacture genuine interest. It's either there or it isn't. And chasing someone who is merely curious often results in frustration, wasted energy, and lowered self-esteem. Another way to spot this is by looking at patterns in her communication. Does she reach out inconsistently? Are her messages reactive rather than proactive? Does she disappear if you don't respond immediately? These are strong signals that her contact is curiosity-driven, not desire-driven. Recognizing these patterns prevents emotional overinvestment and helps you make better decisions about where to focus your attention. The takeaway is clear. Not every outreach deserves a response. When curiosity, not genuine interest, is at play, your best move is strategic restraint. Maintain your boundaries, protect your energy, and let her actions, consistent effort, engagement, and investment dictate your attention. Responding to mere curiosity only teaches her that your attention is easy to earn, which lowers your perceived value and attraction. 6. Signals she's testing you. Another important thing to understand is that when a woman reaches out, she may be testing you. Tests are subtle. They're designed to gauge your confidence, boundaries, and value. Many men miss these signs entirely, responding with overeagerness or defensiveness, which only tells her what she wants to know, that you'll bend, chase, or overinvest for her attention. A common test is provoking an emotional reaction. She might tease, challenge, or even make slightly controversial comments just to see how you respond. A man who overreacts, apologizes too much, or becomes defensive fails the test. A man who stays calm, confident, and measured passes it effortlessly. The key is to maintain composure and respond intentionally, not react impulsively. Another signal is testing your boundaries. She might reach out after a period of no contact, asking for favors or inviting you out at inconvenient times. These are designed to see if you'll drop your standards. Responding immediately, saying yes to everything, or overextending yourself shows her that your boundaries are flexible, which can lower attraction. A man who recognizes the test and responds selectively demonstrates self-respect and high value. Sometimes tests are subtle and playful. She may flirt lightly, joke about your interest, or bring up topics that challenge your confidence. These moments are not just fun. They're a way for her to measure if you're someone who can handle her energy and independence. Passing the test doesn't mean manipulation. It means you're aware of her dynamics and can navigate them without losing yourself. It's also important to remember that tests are about consistency. A woman may reach out multiple times, each instance checking for the same qualities: patience, confidence, and emotional control. Your responses send signals about your character. Over time, consistent calm and strategic responses increase attraction and signal that your attention is not freely given. It's earned. Finally, recognize that failing a test isn't fatal, but ignoring it often is. Men who panic, overanalyze, or try too hard to win her over rarely succeed. The goal isn't to play games. It's to respond in a way that preserves your dignity, maintains your boundaries, and reinforces your value. Understanding that some outreach is a test allows you to act with awareness, not impulse, and keeps the attraction dynamic in your favor. The takeaway: when she reaches out, observe carefully. Ask yourself, is this genuine interest, curiosity, or a test? Respond strategically, stay confident, and let your behavior communicate value without over-communicating need. That's how you maintain control, attraction, and respect. 7. Know your worth. Stop chasing. Here's the reality most men don't want to admit. If you're constantly responding to a woman just because she reaches out, you're undervaluing yourself. No one ever respects someone who gives their attention too easily. Men often fall into the trap of thinking that engaging immediately or trying to keep her interested proves their value. But the opposite is true. True value is demonstrated through selectivity, self-respect, and maintaining boundaries. A big problem is chasing after validation. When a woman reaches out, many men feel obligated to respond, fearing that ignoring her will push her away. The truth is, if she's genuinely interested, a little strategic restraint won't drive her away. It will make her respect your attention more. Chasing only signals that your value depends on her, not the other way around. Another important point: confidence is built on knowing your worth, not on how she reacts to your messages. Men who constantly respond immediately, overanalyze, or overinvest lose sight of their own priorities. Your energy is finite, and giving it to someone who isn't fully invested teaches her and yourself that your attention is free. Once you start recognizing your worth, you naturally stop giving it away indiscriminately. Scenario: you get a casual text from a woman who hasn't reached out in weeks. Your instinct is to respond immediately, trying to gauge her interest or win her over. But if you pause, reflect, and respond selectively, or even wait until she shows real effort, you maintain control. You reinforce your boundaries, protect your confidence, and signal that your attention is earned, not automatically given. This section isn't just about women. It's about you taking responsibility for your own standards. Men need to reflect on their patterns. Are you chasing after attention? Are you over-responding to outreach that isn't genuine? Are you allowing curiosity or boredom to dictate your behavior? If the answer is yes, it's time to wake up. Respect yourself enough to respond strategically, not reactively. Finally, understand that stopping the chase doesn't make you cold. It makes you selective. A man who knows his worth isn't desperate for validation from someone who isn't invested. He engages intentionally, preserves his energy, and keeps his boundaries intact. That's not only attractive, it's empowering. Here's a truth most men refuse to face. Just because a woman reaches out doesn't mean she deserves your attention. Responding automatically or chasing after her messages without thought is one of the fastest ways to lower your value and undermine your confidence. Many men waste time, energy, and emotional investment on women who aren't genuinely interested simply because they can't resist responding. The reality is simple. Your attention is your most valuable currency. When you give it freely to someone who isn't fully invested, you teach them, and yourself, that your time and energy are negotiable. Strategic silence, thoughtful responses, and knowing when to engage aren't manipulative. They're about protecting your worth and maintaining the dynamics that create respect and attraction. Think about it. How many men fall into the trap of chasing women who test them, reach out of boredom, or show curiosity without genuine interest? Far too many. That's why understanding the difference between genuine interest, curiosity, and testing is crucial. It's not about playing games. It's about acting with awareness, confidence, and self-respect. I want to hear from you. Have you ever responded to a woman only to realize later that her attention wasn't genuine? Or maybe you practiced restraint and saw how it shifted the dynamic. Share your experiences in the comments. I read everyone and will engage with you. Real stories help all of us understand the patterns and make smarter choices. Remember this controversial truth. Sometimes the strongest move you can make when a woman reaches out is nothing at all. Protect your value, stay confident, and let your attention be earned, not freely given. That's how attraction, respect, and genuine connection are built.